Hello and welcome to my course, Learn Python the Hard Way. I'm going to tell you right now that this class is actually easy. Learning to code is not necessarily easy. It takes work. You actually have to put in the work if you want to get ahead. But in my class, all you got to do is do what I tell you, do each exercise in order, and really work at it and work to try to understand it and work to do all the study drills and understand the common student questions and all that stuff, and you will learn to code. It's actually very easy. But I'm going to give you a few tips that will help you get through the course and make your life just a little easier. Tip number 1. Practice every day. I know you're saying, I don't have 2 hours every day to practice. Okay, well, you do, however, probably have 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there, 30 minutes at this point, 30 minutes at that point. You can do drills, memorizing things while you take the bus, or you can record things you're supposed to remember and put them into your iPod and play them while you drive. There's all sorts of ways for you to practice what you're trying to learn every day. This is how I get good at so many things I do. I learned to play guitar this way. I learned to write this way. I learned to code this way. I learned all sorts of things this way. I've even taught myself to paint and draw recently doing this. Practice every day if you want to get good at it. But a good solid 2 hours where you sit down and you just do it before you go to sleep or when you wake up or at some point when you're nice and relaxed will definitely be the most optimal way to learn to code. Tip number 2. Don't overdo it though. One thing that you may have is you may have frustration while you're going through this, so take it slow. If you're younger, you may not have a problem with this. You may be able to just blaze right on through this. If you're older, you may have to actually work a little. There's a lot of things that I learned later in life and I had to really just struggle and take it slow, chip by chip, little bit at a time. But eventually, things got easier. It just takes longer, that's all. So don't get frustrated with yourself. Take a break. If you start doing something you don't understand it and you're going crazy, take a break. Go do something else. Usually, if you study things before you go to sleep, then when you wake up, sometimes you have the answer. It's an interesting trick. So breaks, rest, and sleep will help you learn things. Tip number 3. It's all right to be totally lost at first. Programming is a lot like learning any other language, human language or not. At first, if you were trying to learn, say, French and you didn't speak French or Japanese, you would be completely lost if you were like trying to learn it. It's the same thing with programming. You're going to be totally lost. None of this is going to make any sense, but you should start feeling that maybe it will, maybe it could. There's nothing in programming that isn't just common English words and symbols that you need and you encounter every single day. So all you have to do is just struggle with the concepts that those words are trying to relay. And the way you do that is take your time and just assume that you're not really going to understand what's going on, but by trying to understand what's going on, you will eventually get it. It's all about just trying to accept it as something you have to struggle with and trying to look at it from different angles and understand it. But it's okay to be lost at first. Number 4. When you get stuck, get more information. I know professional programmers who don't know this trick. This is very important. When you are stuck, such as when your code doesn't work, or you have no idea what's going on, or you just have no way to continue, get more information. Research, look online, print out data, print out variables, look at the code from a different way. Don't just sit there and stare at the code expecting it to tell you what's wrong. That never works. If you want to solve problems, if you get stuck, you have to find more information to get yourself unstuck, and that can come from either an external source or from looking at things in a different way. As you go through the book, I will be giving you little tips that will tell you how to do this. Tricks such as reading code backwards, emailing yourself and telling yourself the problem. These all sound weird, but they all totally work. And all they're doing, all of my tricks are doing this very thing, getting you more information. And my final tip, number 5, try to solve all of the problems you run into yourself. a common thread among good programmers who learn to code and bad programmers who never do is the good programmers are almost stubbornly trying to solve things themselves. Now, this can get them into trouble later because they try to solve things themselves that would be way easier to solve if they just asked for some help. But in the beginning, you need to learn this self-reliance and learn to solve things on your own first. So, before you go off emailing me or someone else and asking for help, sit down and try to figure it out yourself. Because what ends up happening almost every single time is someone will email me and they'll say, hey, I can't do blah, 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 blah. And then 10 minutes later, I get an email saying they solved it. If they just stopped for a second and tried to figure it out themselves, or even just sent that email to themselves, they would have figured it out. Okay, and my final tip, good luck and have fun. Thank you very much, and I hope you really enjoy this course.